And like you hear all these people say online, when you don't have any money, it doesn't make any sense, because you hear these people say online that don't chase the money, chase success and the money will follow, or however they word it so many different ways. And you're like, when you're broke and you don't know how to put food on the table, this doesn't make any sense at all. Like, what else is there besides trying to get money so that I can pay my bills? And until I lived it, I didn't understand it. And to me, what it means is when I'm chasing the money, I'm jumping at opportunities that might not make sense. I'm not valuing my time. I'm looking at the immediate dollar amount that I can pull away from it, not the return on investment. Hey everybody, Randy here with Stay Broke Business Consulting. Welcome to day 32 of building $1 million business in 1 year. Investing in yourself is the most important thing that you can do. I say that because why would somebody want to hire a business consultant when they're struggling or they're not hitting their goals already? Why would they want to spend money on somebody coming in and telling them what to do or things to change when they've worked so hard to put together what they do have? And I kind of want to get into that a little bit and talk about investing in yourself and finding a business consultant or finding somebody to help you grow, whether it's personally or in your business, especially when there's so many scammers and so many people looking to take advantage. One thing that I've learned is if you're going to be honest, you have to work twice as hard as the people that are willing to lie. An example of that was, I bought a house last year, and it was a nightmare trying to get through the bank. I had plenty of liquidity and I own properties and other things, and the bank was making me jump through all these hoops because they didn't like certain things that I did or how I invested the money or which company name it was in or all these little nitpicky things. The amount of cash that I ended up having to come up with to make the purchase was absolutely ridiculous. And the thing is, I could 100% afford the house. It was not an issue. And then around the same time, I knew somebody else buying a house, and they were lying on documents, like forged documents, submitting those, lying about their financial situation, purchasing something that they really couldn't afford. And I know that because I knew their finances. And they got a house way easier than I did. And it's because they were willing to lie. I'm worried I never get away with anything. So if I'm going to lie, I know that at some point I'm going to get caught and that loan's going to get called and I'm going to have to come up with a bunch of money at one time or whatever. You mess up enough and get caught at it, you're going to feel like everything you do, you're going to get caught at. And that's, I guess that's good and bad. I made a lot of dumb choices when I was younger, but because of that, it keeps me on my toes and keeps me honest these days. So for that, I guess I'm grateful. But let's get back to the investing in yourself, business consulting. Unless you're trying to be a YouTuber or somebody on social media, then don't hire somebody just based off the fact that they have a huge media following and they rent fancy cars and pretend like they own them, or they rent giant houses in the Hamptons and pretend like they own them. All about showing off and showing out. Most of the wealthy people I know aren't like that. Like, yeah, they might have nice stuff, but they're not acting extravagant. They're not flashy in your face. And those are the people that I want to try and learn from. And that's kind of the mindset that we have going into this. Like, you don't need to hire us, that's fine. But if you're going to hire somebody, do your research. I'm not going to have somebody come in and help me with my business if they've never run a business. That's just how I feel about it. Doesn't mean that in some industries, having somebody with education in certain degrees can't come in and help guide you. Like, I know that can be beneficial in certain industries. But with what I do, I want somebody that has experience in being more successful than I am. And driving a fancy car is not success to me. Do I have a Porsche or a Lamborghini or a Ferrari? No. One of the reasons is because I barely fit in one. And when I do want to drive one, I go to the racetrack and I rent it for a day. And that's a better experience than beating it up driving around these roads that we have here. I don't need one. It's not going to make me feel any better. All it's going to do is draw attention to me. And, I get that I'm on here talking to the camera and putting my face out there. This is something that is challenging to me. But when I'm out driving around or with my family, like, I don't want to be bothered. I don't want people talking to me about my car. I had that problem with an old car that I used to drive, that every time I'd pull up to a gas station or a stoplight, people were trying to talk to me about it. And it's like, I just want to go out and enjoy what I have, not explain what it is or why I have it. Getting way off track here. When it comes time to invest in yourself, people like to wait until it's too late, until they're desperate, right? And this is where the sharks come in. They wait for you to be at your weakest point, and they attack promises of a fancy car, a big house, billions of dollars, something that's freaking unconceivable to most people. The idea of $1 billion is just so far removed from reality, but you start hearing those keywords, seeing the flashy stuff, and it's so easy to get sucked into the idea of having this quick fix, this solution that, like, if I just give this guy $5,000, he's going to make all my dreams come true. But the only dreams that are coming true are his when he takes home that $5,000 that day from you and all the other people that he's taking advantage of. And I say he, it can be he, she, whatever. Those people taking advantage of other people when they're at their weakest. And, I've fallen prey to it before. I was in a situation after the housing bubble burst in 2008, and where I lived in Wilmington, North Carolina, there was also a moratorium on building permits. So they were issuing no new building permits due to infrastructure issues. And I was in new construction, custom construction on the beach, working on multi-million-dollar beach homes, doing custom trim and carpentry, cabinets, all this stuff. Everything just like fell apart all at once. At the same time, I hurt my shoulder and had to have surgery on that. So I couldn't even lift any weight. Next thing you know, I am completely broke. There was some other bad choices I was making at the time. Drinking too much, doing stuff I shouldn't have been. Like, it was just, the whole world was crumbling. And then instead of trying to find a way out, I waited until it got so bad that I was desperate. And to the point where I'm on Craigslist looking for side work, looking for little carpenter gigs, like whatever I can do to try and bring in money. And there was a company that was advertising to generate leads, right? And just based off of how much they were charging, I should have known. I did know that it was fake. I knew that I was getting scammed. And I went through this process. And when I was talking to this lady on the phone, giving her $175 that I had to borrow from somebody to give to him, and the last thing I said to her was, please do not scam me. I cannot afford it. This is all the money I have left. I knew that I was getting scammed, but I was so desperate, I did it anyway. And guess what? I lost that money. I call back. I'm getting connected through an operator. All that business isn't in the building anymore, blah, 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 whatever. They did it to a whole bunch of people. And I knew. I didn't trust my gut. I was in sheer desperation mode. And like I said, that's when the scammers, that's when the sharks come out to play, and they will take advantage. So invest in yourself now. Invest in yourself early. Don't wait until you're desperate, because you're not going to listen to your gut. You're not going to listen to your heart. You're not going to follow what you know is right. And that's when people make mistakes. That's when people lose it all. Take care of yourself now. Start investing in yourself now. Whether that's going to the gym, eating healthier, learning something new, taking a class, taking an online course, it doesn't matter. Do something to better yourself today, and it is going to be It's going to pay dividends tomorrow. You're going to get your best ROI on anything you do to improve yourself. And it might not show itself right away, but down the road, those things are going to pay back so much. And that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to get in with businesses that are making it. They're struggling, but they're making it. And they've been making it for quite a while. Like, let's invest in you. Let's invest in your business. Let's come in and figure out what little tweaks we can make to get you out of that cycle, to make sure you don't land in that land of desperation, right? Let's keep you away from there. And this is where we're trying to build sustainability. You know, all these sharks online, they're selling you millions, they're selling you billions. They're giving you this stuff. It's easy, it's quick. Let's make it now. That's what they're selling. We are not selling that. We're selling sustainability. We're selling a path to wealth that's not easy. Us coming in and working with you for whether it's a couple days, couple weeks, couple years, like, it's not going to be an easy path to get there. You're going to have to make sacrifices. You're going to have to make commitments. You're going to have to take some chances to get to that point. It takes time. It takes years to make big changes in a business. Like, you know, you watch some of these influencers online and they're like, if you don't like how you're running it, then change it today. Make the changes today. Fire this person today. But I am not going to do that because that's going to jeopardize everything. Let's be strategic. Let's think. Let's plan. Let's find that path forward. Let's figure out first what our goals are. What am I trying to achieve? And let's figure out before that, figure out what success means to you. If success means a sports car and a big house you can't afford, then we're not the people for you. Like, it's just straight up. Go give one of these sharks $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. Go to one of the summits that's going on at this time of the year where it's going to be a master class and teach you every single thing you need to know to be successful. That's not us. We want to work with you. We want to work side by side with you. And we can't help you if you don't know what success means to you. We can't help you if we don't know what your goals are. Lots of people like to try and come up with goals first. It's not goals first. What does success mean to you? You know, when I'm chasing goals and I don't know what success is, I'm chasing money. I've done that and I failed every time that I was chasing money. It's a bad path. And like, you hear all these people say online, when you don't have any money, it doesn't make any sense, because you hear these people say online that don't chase the money, chase success and the money will follow, you know, or however they word it so many different ways. And you're like, when you're broke and you don't know how to put food on the table, this doesn't make any sense at all. Like, what else is there besides trying to get money so that I can pay my bills? And until I lived it, I didn't understand it. And to me, what it means is when I'm chasing the money, I'm jumping at opportunities that might not make sense. I'm not valuing my time. I'm looking at the immediate dollar amount that I can pull away from it, not the return on investment, not how much time and effort I'm gonna have to put in to achieve that amount of money. All I'm doing is chasing these little things. Everywhere that money's coming at me, I'm chasing them, and then I end up investing here and buying here and doing this stuff here. Next thing I know, I am broke and I have all these assets that I owe money on. And if one thing goes wrong, like, the whole house of cards is going to fall. And I've put myself in that situation because I was chasing the money. When I figured out what success meant to me, and this means, like, this is one of the intake questions that we ask. What does the success mean to you? You need to define success. And it's always a one sentence answer. Financial freedom, buying what I want, being, you know, like, whatever the simple answer, traveling the world. Like, it's always something like that. But I challenge you to write one full page on what success means to you, as much detail as you can. What does it mean when you say you want financial freedom? What does that mean to you? To me, I realize that success means I can operate a business without having to be part of the day to day. And I can spend time with my family, and I can help my kids chase their passions. I can travel the world to watch my daughter do jujitsu. I can buy my daughter a horse so that she can chase her passion. And we're not just giving these things to them, they are working for them, and we make sure they're working for them before we escalate to that point. But I started to figure out what my one page of success meant. And then that changed my goals completely, right? Now, instead of chasing the quick money, I'm chasing stability. And through this, we sold off some businesses and assets that we were involved in that were just like, yeah, we made a little money off of them, but the amount of time and effort that I was putting in and the return on that investment was just absolutely terrible, but it seemed like quick money. So we cleaned out, kind of our portfolio, got out of some businesses that were just eating our time and just tearing my employees down, and refocused everything, focused on our main business at the time, which was the construction company, and making sure that that was stable so that I could go after my goals and chase my path to success. And that's what we did. We invested in the business. And whenever I started investing in the business, the plan was, that was the year that I was planning to sell the company first off, which was delayed because of COVID. But secondly, we were supposed to hit, I forget, we had a goal of essentially doubling our annual revenue. But again, that was just chasing the money. I had to let all of that go. And we still finished a little bit higher than we did the year before, but nowhere near our goals. But what I did do was made my employees happy, had them, like, I just changed the whole atmosphere and culture of the company back to what it used to be, where people like being here. They feel ownership in the company, and they're willing to give everything while they're here during the day, which meant extra benefits for them, which meant our bottom line was getting smaller. But doing all these things, investing in my replacement, giving them a year worth of training so that I could remove myself from the day to day. Like, all this stuff cost me money, like spending months and months writing policies and procedures so that I can make sure that if something was to happen to me tomorrow, that my family can still live the same way, or that this company can continue to run, whether I'm here or I'm in Portugal with my daughter for the European Championships. Like, these are the things that once I figured out, these are the things that mean everything to me. Now I can refocus all my goals on that, and I can take the right steps to get to that point. So that's what I did. And it took 2.5 years to get from the start of that to where we are today and starting this new business, which was part of my goals. Invest before you need to. I could have kept going in the same direction I was, and I believe that I could have lost everything. We were getting stretched so thin. I was stretched thin. My team was stretched so thin. They were starting to lose faith, and we were heading in the wrong direction. I was giving my time to the wrong people, allocating my resources to people that didn't appreciate it, like just making all the wrong moves because I wanted more money and I don't fail, right? Those are the two things that I had in my mindset. And where did I get these? I got these from influences, outside influences, whether it was talking to people or watching videos online, trying to piece together how these people invest in real estate, buy real estate, do all this stuff. And without a full understanding of it, like, yeah, I got some good deals and I made a little bit of money, but like, I was just throwing darts at the dartboard. I got lucky on a couple of them. I lost some money on a couple of them, but like, it's just blindly following these words that you're hearing online. I was just chasing this dream that I didn't even know what it was and trying to get more money and going down this rabbit hole, and it was spiraling quick. And luckily, I was able to catch it before it was too late, reinvest in myself, reinvest in my business, create real stability, and create future wealth. Like, do I have any more money in the bank now than I had 3 years ago? Not much more, but the assets we did keep, some of them are paid off. Some of them are close to paying off. Like, our whole financial situation is dramatically improved. Am I taking home any more money this year than I did last year or the year before? Probably not. But that's okay, because I don't really need to take home more money. I'm more concerned about what's going to happen down the road, and that's what I'm trying to work towards. So if sacrificing a little bit over the last 2.5, 3 years is going to get me that future stability and that like real wealth, that money that's working for me, that I'm not chasing, that if something happens to me and I can't work for a period of time, I'm not having to do things out of desperation to try and keep food on the table. That's the dream. That's the success. That's what I'm after. That's what we want to help you do, right? So if you're just on the fence and looking for a little bit of direction, or just want a little outside perspective, that's our coaching. That's our, meeting calls, video or conference calls. Like, we have these things where it's not going to cost you a bunch of money. We can sit down, have a conversation, kind of talk about it. We also offer a free consultation. Like, if you don't know if this is the right fit, because we don't want to work for somebody that it's not the right fit, because it's not going to work for anybody. I don't have time to invest in people that aren't willing to put in the work to see the results. So we want to allocate our resources properly now, and we want to spend time with the people that we can have the most effect on. So if we're not the right fit, we're not the right fit. That's fine. I'm not going to charge you to find out if we're the right fit or not. It's a conversation. It's an application. Like, let's see if we can do anything to even, help you or guide you. Outside of that, our paid services, our coaching, mentoring, to be part of our mentor program, you have to work towards that. Again, we're only going to offer that time to people that are putting in the work to make the progress. And it's not like somebody has to come in and like, I give them this plan and they have to follow it to the T. I'm just trying to give some guidance and direction, and more importantly, motivation to keep pushing forward and start to make changes in your business. And if somebody's willing to do those things, then we can move into the mentoring, where I'm willing to give up a certain amount of my time every month to meet with you, to talk about progress, to track everything. We also want to be able to help people that can't afford a consultation, right? I don't want anybody to go in debt to get my help. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. So that's why we're doing our free services that we're offering, where you let us record the process and you do a podcast with us to talk about what was good, what was bad, did we help, did we not help. Like, let's talk about that stuff. Let's be honest about that stuff, and let's share it with other people. So that's a program that we have coming up. There's an application for that as well. All this is going to be available on our website when it launches, hopefully in the next 2 weeks or so. But in the meantime, like, if any of these things are something you're interested in, you can reach out to us. Info at staybroke.com is the best way to reach out to us. You can reach out to us on social media. And then we have our full service consultation or full service consulting, which is where we come in, we try to understand your business, we try to spend time at your facility or wherever you're doing your work. We try to really see how things are operating. We talk to your employers, or we talk to your employees, your people at the management level. We really try and put together all the information we can to figure out what's missing and see if we can help find a path to bridging that gap. That's a more in-depth service. That isn't for somebody that's just starting out, or that isn't for somebody that's just hanging on. That's somebody that's looking for, how am I going to move into retirement? How am I going to sell my business when I am the business? Like, those are the people that we're offering those services for. Somebody that can afford to invest in their retirement. Those are the people that we want to help. So, all that being said, I hope I explained what we do. And there's lots of people out there that do what we do. If you're going to go to them, don't do it out of desperation, because they will take your money. Most of them, not all of them. And invest in yourself today before it's too late. Do your research. Don't be afraid to ask for the receipts. Ask for proof that they did what they said they did, right? I'm fine with that. I go over my finances every month with my employees, so I'm more than willing to share them with a client. Like, that's just how I operate. We're an open book, and I'm not a billionaire, and we're not close to being a billionaire. I don't have $100 million in the bank, but I have stability. I have plans for the future. We have consistent growth. We have assets. We have failed a lot of times. We have been successful a few times. We have experiences that we can share. That's what we're after. So, for more of this, where it's free, like, follow, subscribe. And if you have suggestions about what you want to hear about, let us know. If you're interested in any of the programs that we're talking about, info at staybroke.com. And as always, stay broke.